What's up, guys? We're back. Recovery Today Magazine Studios. Little bit of a change. I dig it. Feel a little bit more professional. This is my section, Scummy Unplugged, where we bring on new talent, new people that share the same recovery-based stories that got their lives back from drug addiction and are truly doing things. And you are a perfect candidate for this. I think we met my friend Shane Best, who was in the studios not too long ago. He said, dude, you got to meet this guy. My boy Kyle, we go to NA meetings together, and he's gnarly. He's got his life back. He's in the music deal. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I looked at your Instagram, dude, you are talented, dude. I'm not anything of a musician. I don't know how to do anything music-wise, but just listening to you, you were something special, man. And just your whole story, he kind of told me some stuff about you, and we talked. Dude, you got your life back. It looks like you're staying busy doing things. I mean,
yeah.
How's your life going on? What's tell the people who you are, man.
Well, yeah, busy, I guess, would be an understatement. Chasing goals, just having the freedom to be able to do that kind of stuff, man. It's a big deal. It's definitely a lot different than what we were talking about here about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, for sure. And so you wouldn't be where you're at today if you were still on drugs, running amok.
Hell no.
Take us back. I mean, how'd you get into the drug world, and how did you become a drug addict, man? Very blunt, but,
Well, none of it happened overnight. It was definitely progressive, you know what I mean? And it's just I had a lot of time alone as a kid. I had a lot of time to associate with the wrong people, and
growing up, were you into the drug deal, the drug game, or, I mean, how was your upbringing?
I mean, how young are we talking?
10, 12, like, kind of.
It was like 12, 13, like, started, like, dabbling, like, smoking weed and that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But for the most part, like, I don't know, by the time I was, like, 14 in high school, was, like, I always chased, like, I was always after, like, the image, you know what I mean? Like, I always had this really loud head, and I always tripped on just, like, what people saw and what people thought about me, and, like, you know what I mean? Just, like, all that dumb stuff that, like, normal teenagers worry about, and I guess I might have taken it to the next level, but whatever I could do to, you know what I mean? Whatever I could do to draw some attention or to make me like, damn, look what that cat did,
Were you going big back in the day, or just
like when I was by the time I was like 14, it was like already like pretty much on, like, just, like railing shit in the bathroom.
Really? That young?
I don't know.
Dude, that's gnarly. I mean, what were you in the music world back then? How'd you get into music?
Well, man, I started playing guitar and singing when I was like 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of born into it in a way. That was your kind of passion?
Yeah, definitely. I always, Pops always just had like the big old stack of records, and that was like our thing when I was like 7, 8 years old, was just like go sit in the living room and like listen to music with Pops, you know what I mean?
Was that your dream one day to become a rock star, you gotta say, or just a musician?
I mean, I would write little things here and there, but it wasn't ever like, I never like really, I always had that just like kind of bad thinking. It was just like, well, yeah, I mean, sure, you can think stuff, but it's never gonna happen for you, you know what I mean? Like, just the glass, half empty kind of thinking always, what I mean, as a kid or whatever.
When did you notice? I mean, we're gonna just talk a lot about the addiction, the drugs and alcohol, man. We're at Recovery Today Magazine. When did drugs and alcohol really become a problem?
Probably like by the time I was 14.
That young? 15,
yeah. Dang. When I started getting kicked out of school, school after school. I mean, I would last like 2 weeks at every school I was at, and like, you know what I mean. I was the cop's favorite at every school. You know what I mean. And it was like, if there's
bad boy.
If there's anything that happened, like I was probably the first one getting pulled out of class. Stinking up the classroom. Like whatever.
You never thought about like cleaning up the game, or I mean, you're that young. No, who thinks about that? No. That young?
I thought about what was wrong with all them, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what you think, man. I mean, how like continue on? Did it become worse and worse? Did things start going like downhill, or?
You know what? When I was like 16, when I was 15, I actually moved up to Redding, like way up north in Cali.
To get out of the
kinda like it was kind of like forced. I got after kicked out of 3 schools here in Ventura County. Then it was, you're going to live with your mom up north, right? So I moved up there, and I actually kind of like did okay for a couple years, and didn't graduate, didn't walk, and then like when I was 17, like I moved to Long Beach, and that's when like things like really escalated.
Where were you musically? Was music obviously I'm gonna guess was number 2 and drugs were number 1 at that point?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was more like drugs, and then, you know, shelter and food and all that stuff came after, and then music, you know.
Dang. Okay. When you came back down, when did you move back down here?
Well, when I was 17, like I moved back down to Long Beach.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, I was always, I didn't know anybody, you know what I mean? Like I didn't associate with too many people, and like the only way that I could like make friends really was just like by like getting loaded with everybody and just like smoking everybody out, and like, you know what I mean? Like what can I do? Like where can I go where like people will accept me and like make me feel better about me, you know what I mean?
Now being sober, I think about those times, like you think those are all your boys, like the dude with a connect, and like at the time he's your best friend, dude. But now looking at like being sober, dude, those aren't like even real friends. It's almost just kind of like I don't know, man. It's weird. Kind of you just look at things so different when you're sober, man. But dude, when did things start to pick up? How'd you end up in rehab? Where was the rock bottom, I guess, man?
Rock bottom was after 3 years of panhandling every day, and
homeless? You got
on and off, like sleeping on a couch here and there, and then like, you know, I would stay with the the girlfriend, and then she would go to jail, and then I'd be sleeping in a bathroom, and you know what I mean, like wherever, you know, it was always different every night.
So from when you moved back, it just for how many more years did it become worse and worse and worse?
Like 2 or 3.
Did it ever level out, or did you notice?
No, it was
kept on going downhill.
Yeah, it was just every 2 weeks I was hitting like another like bottom that, like, you know, it was always like I told myself I'd never do this, I'd never be that guy, I'd never do that, and then like I continued to find myself doing those exact same things that I used to laugh at and ridicule, you know what I mean? It's
so weird how that happens, and that's why I think like drug addiction is so gnarly, man. They always say weed's a gateway drug, but dude, I feel if you're an addict, dude, like it kind of is. You start there, you do a little coke. Well, if I do coke, what's a little bump of meth? I do meth, like. Yeah. I never grew up like just the word heroin. It's so gnarly, dude. Yeah. But after you take pain pills and you realize, dude, heroin's the same thing. You get it cheaper, and then you do that, then you're in a place like, how did I fucking get here, dude?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. It's so crazy. Where was your rock bottom? Did you have a couple of them, or just like one gnarly one?
You know what? Probably a couple. I mean, I'd say one of them would be like fighting with like a. Fighting with like somebody in the same situation as me, like over a street corner. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm posted up with my sign, and then like somebody like tries to come up like 12 feet down and like post up with their sign too, and it's just like on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's like, pretty low, but I think we all.
That was just like when things start flying and you start screaming at the top of your lungs, and like that, and like plus. You know, just running down 2nd Street in Belmont Shore in Long Beach with like my pants around my ankles, like screaming at like stop signs and throwing my guitar and stuff. Like,
where were you musically in this part of your life? Like right before you hit that rock bottom, were you kind of anybody in the music scene?
No, hell no.
Did you even like? Did you have did you still have this vision that you're gonna make it one day, or those all out the window?
Yeah. It was just like, I don't know, like I expected to die within like 2 years, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know how it is. You kind of lose
cliche, hope. Yeah, like
I never looked forward to my future at all, you know? It was just like, I just kind of accepted that like this is like how life is, and like I never saw any addicts get clean. I never saw like people that did what I did, like living successfully, you know?
Did you even know what like the word? I'm just like, I feel like I didn't even know what the word sobriety was. Maybe I just kind of like put it to the side. I didn't want to know what that was. But did you ever think like, shit, if I try to get sober, maybe I could actually be a successful person? Did that even come into your head? I don't think it does for a lot of addicts, man.
No, it was mainly just like sober for me would have been just like smoking weed and drinking. You know what I mean? Like I'm clean now.
I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
Dude, I totally hear you, man.
Would have gone off the handle either way, you know?
I think one thing, like, with addicts, like, we all have, like, the same stories, man. It's really twisted, dude. Like, just how crazy, how low drugs really get you, man. Like, shit. I'm sure you got stories that, like, probably a lot of people won't even believe, or, like, I don't know, dude.
Like, they don't think that I would do it?
Yeah. Because now, like, looking at you, like, sober Kyle, I can't imagine that. And that's like the beauty of sobriety, like how it just changes people into like something. I'm sure there's no way you thought you would be here at Recovery Today magazine doing a story on like all the shows you're about to do, how you just made top 10 on iTunes. It's fucking crazy, dude. All because nothing else, only because you got sober, man. And that's like, it's a rad deal. I think there needs to be more of this shit, more people like you, more people preaching about sobriety, getting your fucking life back, man, because it's rad, dude. Like, you got your life back. So how did you end up in rehab? Well, did you go to rehab? I don't even know like your story. Tell the story. How'd you change your life around, man?
I did a 118 days in residential treatment. So it was like 3.5, almost 4 months. Like I went, and mainly it was, right before that day, I mean, I ended up in a parking lot, like surrounded by cops and like my mom and my dad, and like everybody was just like screaming and freaking out and crying and yada, yada, yada. And this cop just like gave me this ultimatum, and he's just like, look, dude, he's like, I had stuff on me too, if it makes a difference. But like, he was just like, look, dude, he's like, either we're going to take you in for a 48-hour hold, like a psychiatric deal, you know what I mean? Or you can walk into that door right there and check out a treatment center. And if you don't like it, you can leave, you know what I mean? And that was like the magic words. Yeah. I was
wow.
Like, all right, I'll take that,
You seem like a pretty cool cop doing that, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I wish I knew who he was or remembered his name or something,
That's crazy, dude. I have a cop that kind of did the same thing, and like that's always been a thing I've wanted to do, like just to go back and just like show him, dude. I think that's rad. A lot of, we don't have to get into it, but there are a lot of good cops out there, man. Yeah. And I think that's cool. And I didn't ask you this, but where was your family during all this? Did they like... how was that situation?
Pops was living in Long Beach, so he was, I would pretend like I was gonna come home like once every 4 months and like, go to bed and then like wait for him to fall asleep and then just like, rob him of everything and then just be gone for another 6 months.
Did they know you were getting in fights to get your street corner? Did they know it was that bad or like?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. They knew something was up. I think that they were in denial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like they didn't want to believe that.
Sure,
even after him finding, that's pretty much what kicked it all off. Was he was I wasn't at home anymore. You know what I mean? So he was cleaning out my room and throwing out all the old stuff, and he found like a big old bag just full of like old dirty rigs and like spoons and cottons and all that stuff, and he just like took a picture of it and sent it to my mom, and then it was just like on like then they were just like, it was
was that heavy?
Yeah, it was like she found me in downtown Long Beach with my sign that day and like didn't recognize me at first, like had to like walk back around a couple times before she realized it was me, and just like
no way.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're doing this interview, but I just hope like somebody out there is just really watching. I hope I already know you're touching lives. I know you're really good into the sobriety, but dude, like just showing like how, dude, look at you, bro. Like, dude, your mom doesn't even recognize her own kid.
Yeah.
Holding a cardboard sign, and like, look at you now, dude. It's crazy when you change your life around, what it fucking does, man. You already know I'm proud of you, man. That's really cool. So you went jail, rehab. I'm going to rehab.
No jail ever.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's gnarly. I want to get some tips off that. Well, actually not now, maybe back in the day, but that's crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, when that cop stopped you, didn't he say like 48 hold or you can go to treatment? Mm-hmm. And so you went to treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go in full force or did you kind of just go in?
It was just the plan was just to get everybody off my back until I could use again. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, like if I trick everybody into like, I was still just like in that like crazy thinking, you know what I mean? Like
when did it snap? When were you in there? You only went to that rehab one time, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did it snap? Did you have like one of those epiphanies where it's just something happened in there? Or?
I think I was just like so glad I didn't like after. I didn't have any options. First off, it was like I went like out to Riverside in this treatment center. It's just like, what am I gonna do? Like jack my roommate and then like get on a train and like be like well for like a day. Like what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like nobody wanted me around. Like I'd burned all my bridges. I think my aha moment or my snap was like having nothing and nobody. You know what I mean? And like nobody to back up my shit anymore. Nobody to fucking co-sign whatever the hell I had to say. And really just like. everybody in the world thinking that I'm a piece of shit, and pretty much did it.
You can't recommend that to somebody to go burn all your bridges and just get to your lowest point, then go to rehab, because it makes it a lot easier. But I get it, dude. Like, it does make it a little bit easier. I mean, it's just dead, or I gotta change my shit around, dude. You know, and it's sad that a lot of these people can't figure it out. Even us, we couldn't figure out, you know, before we got that low. I don't know how you want to say it, man. I mean, when did things start? So at this point, your roller coaster, you're at the bottom. When did shit start going up? I mean, how long you went to rehab? 118 days.
Yeah. So I was in there, and like for the first like 2 months, it's like all I did was just like kicked. You know what I mean? Like I kicked for like 2 months straight, and just like every night was just like trying to fall asleep for like 10 minutes, you know, and then like getting, you know, they would wake us up at 6 to walk the dogs, right? So it's like every night would just be like tossing back and forth and turning, and then I mean obviously I did my 6-day detox where like they actually had me on meds. Thank God they had me do the Subutex and all that. You know, they tapered me down within like 6 days, but after that I just felt like I was dope sick all over again. And so it was like a good like month and a half of just like not being able to sleep or eat right. And I was just like grateful when I could just like hold a meal down, you know what I mean? Like I could eat and like not throw it up. And then like if I could, I remember after I had a seizure from not sleeping in treatment, like I seized and like I rolled out on the stretcher and everything, and like
Jesus,
never had any, you know what I mean, never like had any history of seizures or anything like that. But like apparently like I locked up and like started swallowing my own tongue and shit, and they rolled me out in a stretcher, and then they prescribed me sleeping meds after that shit. They were like, all right, dude, like, get this guy some. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I started taking that trazodone like a little bit every night, and I finally started getting a little bit of sleep, and then it was just like okay, like I feel like I'm, you know, almost not sick anymore. Like I can actually like rest, I can actually eat, and then like, you know, just being able to like shower every day and like and you know, like shave and brush your teeth and
starting
just
to
like
become human again.
Exactly.
Like just become normal again, that you like lost those feelings for so long.
Yeah.
So when did things start picking up? I mean, you got out of rehab, started feeling good, and how long you been sober for?
A little over 5 years.
It's huge, man.
On July 14th it was 5, so
congrats, buddy. So dude, where you at now, man? I know that, dude, top 10 on iTunes, going from all that now, like
for a day.
It don't matter, man.
You
got that plaque, top 10, baby. That's sick, dude. When did things start happening, dude? I'm sober. I want to start getting my passion back, going to the top of music. When did things, dude? You are talented, bro. Like, when did things really start happening for that? When did you think, dude, I got my life back? Let's go. Did you have that moment? When did you really take music really serious, or I don't know.
You know what? I mean, my first 3.5 years of recovery were just like struggle. You know what I mean? And like, I honestly, like, you know, my first, like, that for that whole time, it was like a lot of just like negative thinking. You know what I mean? Like I got clean, but I didn't really like put in like the work, right? And like I continued to like be in broken relationship after just like, you know what I mean, like all the toxic shit that you can do while you're in recovery, like I continued to do with like 3 years clean.
Dude, that's one thing, like that's the gnarliest thing to get in a bad relationship, like, right? And that's what they teach. I don't know, that's what they told me. Just I think what was like 10 months, don't get into a relationship. A year. I was
in like 3 months, like 2 days after I got out of rehab.
Really?
I was like ready to get married.
Dang, dude.
It was like the fastest way to learn, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So did you have any times where you like relapse or anything? Any like almost going down that hole or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. When I had like 6 months clean, we actually didn't go into this last time, but when I had like 6 months clean, I actually got a girl pregnant, right? And we were gonna be. That was like the plan, and everybody at the meetings was just like, congratulations, daddy, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready to do this shit, you know? And like I made sure that I had all my ducks in a row, and like one day, like I came home and like all the shit was gone, and like she like told my mom she got an abortion and like bounced, you know what I mean? So it was just like it was just like all this stuff that I just like had like planned in my head, like just like disappeared like overnight, you know what I mean? And then like she came to the meeting like a couple days later, like with her new girlfriend.
She was at your same meeting?
Oh yeah. She, she had to come rub it in. And it was just like, that was probably like the most churned stomach I've had like in recovery. Besides like losing like a couple of loved ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
that was just, I don't know. Like luckily, like I had like good people in the rooms and like people that would like laugh, but like in a loving way. You know what I mean?
And do you think if you weren't going to those meetings that you probably would have slipped up?
Oh yeah.
A lot of these people, dude, they wonder why like they get sober and they fall back out and they don't put the work in. I think that it's just a big
it's
support system. It's key, dude.
Yeah, my buddy Brian always taught me you can't save your face and your ass at the same time. You know what I mean? So this whole recovery thing is like really just like about, I don't give a fuck what I look like when it comes to being cool or like, you know what I mean? Like I don't give a fuck about any of that. Like, oh, I'm a man, I can do this by myself. Like none of that shit matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm hurting, like it's okay to ask for help. You know what I mean? And if like the first thing I did, like thank God, because like 2 weeks before, me and her moved out here to Ventura together.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I did was identified in every single meeting, let everybody know that I was new from out of town. I didn't know anybody out here. And I got fucking like 3 massive lists of phone numbers, right? So like, like the second that shit went down, I'm like calling every single one of those numbers like, dude, like I need to get to a meeting, you know? So
dang, dude.
Did you ever have, came through,
Did you ever have that time like, for me, after knowing how gnarly just being dope sick, the drugs, like when you got sober and like a couple months into rehab, did you ever have any of those times where you just felt so damn good thinking about like how bad it was and now you're waking up not having to go to drugs, or was it always like rough for you?
You know what? I think mentally I was like stoked, but I mean, depends. Like in treatment, it was just like I was so glad that like I knew that I didn't have to like get well that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, like I get to like wake up and like go throughout a normal day like a regular person instead of like,
so you were still pumped. I'm just trying to paint this picture. I feel like you were saying like you were like kind of negative or just not really there for right after rehab, but were you pumped? Or was it these relationships? Just like being sober, just waking up like, dude,
it was that, and the relationships, like I've always been like a really like short fuse, like angry kind of dude, like like just that typical bullshit that like a clean and sober fucking addict would be. You know what I mean? Like pissed off and fucking ready to like that dry drunk shit, right? Like fucking when you get clean, you don't work a program and you're just like dry like that. Like that's how I was, man. And then I was doing all the work at the same time, you know what I mean? Like I had my sponsor, I was calling him, I was doing my step work, I was doing all that stuff, but it was just like, it was mostly just like, what a huge shift for me was like being, was unlearning, I guess if that's the word for it, unlearning like just all the shit that I believed about myself over the past, like my whole life, you know what I mean? And, it was always, anytime an opportunity came my way, it was always just like, oh no, I would never do that. You know what I mean? Like they would never pick me. Like that's not going to happen to me. Like, like you'll win, but it wouldn't fucking happen to me, you know? Yeah. And, I've, to be honest with you, like besides the step work, besides the meetings, besides, being a service and working the spiritual principles that we learn in the program, man, like, a big thing for me has been like, motivational speakers and I won't throw any like specific names out there, but just like filling my brain with positive thoughts in the morning and just like continuously telling myself the same shit over and over and over, like makes a big difference in how I go throughout my day. You know what I mean? Like my mind is literally like whatever I pour into it, like whatever I pour into my head in the morning every day is like that's going to be my world around me.
Dude, it's true. We did an interview with Rick Thorne, and he goes to bed. There's some word for it, and he puts on this like philosopher, this like motivational speaker when he's sleeping, and like your brain's never shutting off. And he says that changed him, dude. Like I get it, man. Just kind of surrounding yourself with positive stuff for you, motivational. Just like for me, just surrounding yourself with good people, motivational shit. It's like you are who you kind of hang out with and what you bring into your life, man. I mean, just like a whole game change. When did music start picking up?
I started posting little videos like here and there. Like, I mean, I picked up my guitar again when I had like 90 days clean, you know what I mean? And like, I kind of tried to mess with some stuff here and there. people would be like, dude, you need to do something with that. And you know what I mean? Like I said, like the same thinking as before, like, no, you know what I mean? Like I was too cool, you know what I mean? I was too cool to sing. I was too cool to get vulnerable like that. And like, you know, all that.
Is that the same where, are you maybe like ego? Your ego is too big?
No. I mean, I guess, yeah. If I'm worried about what people think of me, then I guess it's still ego, yeah.
Is that, I always tell everybody,
like thinking that everybody gives a shit? Like, yeah, I guess that's still ego.
Like, for me, what I tell everybody, like, for me, that was the biggest thing, and that's what made it so easy, letting my ego down, dude, and just going into it and, like, accepting somebody's got to tell me something, okay? Like, I don't know. That's just a big one, dude. I mean, when I was in rehab, I'm sure you see the dudes with like big egos think they know everything. Those dudes are not sober now, you know. Most of them, dude. At least in my case, but that was a big thing that I witnessed. So the Instagram people started seeing that stuff and started picking up?
I started posting a couple videos like on Facebook here and there, and I actually got hit up by my good buddy Mark, who his stage name is SoCal Trash, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure you remember.
I remember.
All right, cool.
That's sick.
So he hit me up and was like, man, like, you're really good on that guitar. Like, you should come over and we should do a video, right? So, like, he pretty much brought me to his pad and, like, threw me on his Facebook Live and, like, put me in the eyes of, like, you know, 10,000 cats that follow him.
Yeah.
And then, and it was just, like, that day, it just, like went nuts.
Really? And that was, like, 90 days sober?
No. This was, like, a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I pretty much worked like, you know, over the next, I guess, from my clean date until I had like a year ago, until I had like 4 years and or a little over 3 years clean, was like just, you know, working like a regular job and kind of staying low and like, you know, getting a girlfriend and then like getting, you know, kind of trying to do the normal thing and pretty much like after I got out of my last relationship, it was just like, dude, like how many times are you gonna keep hitting your head on this same wall over and over and over? You know what I mean? And so like it was weird because like right after that, like I went and like right after I made that decision to leave that relationship and like do something positive for me, man, and like care about my own well-being.
Was it that relationships or relationships in general? Like, are you gonna like
I think in general
pause on that for a little bit and just really focus on yourself? Yeah,
and it's like learning how to be like content and alone over the past like 2 years has been like a very, very big part of my recovery, and like how I, you know, the longer I do that, like the more self-respect I have, you know what I mean? Like I don't put up with like any bullshit now. You know what I mean? Like anybody that knows me now, like knows that I don't, like people are probably going to watch this and like laugh when I say this right now. 'Cause like I don't put up with like any shit whatsoever. Dude.
That's what you need is helping, dude. That's sick. I mean, I saw just on your Instagram, I scrolled back and, dude, like, seems over the past 6 months, dude, you're blowing up, dude. Yeah. I mean, so talk about, like, top 10 on iTunes for only a day, but that's a huge deal, dude. Yeah, especially after the whole story you told me. And it's not like you've been doing this steady for 15 years, clean and sober. Like, you really just kind of was reborn, let's say, 5 years ago and really starting fresh. Yeah. Pretty much, you know? I mean, it's pretty gnarly. How'd you get top 10? Was that your own band? Or is that just solo stuff?
That was solo. So basically what I did was I went and me and Mark recorded a song together, right? And that song Dope Fiend. Yeah. We recorded that song together. Well, we just took a little video, like just a video that we took in his backyard, you know what I mean? Like it blew up to like 80,000 views and like thousands of people shared it, and like I had people like messaging me like, "Oh, I'm clean now because of this," or like you know, people commenting on the video like, "I have 10 days clean now because of this song." And I was just like, damn, like this is crazy, you know, and like what a cool way to be able to like share, like get to do what I love and, you know, share a message at the same time. Like I try not to preach, you know what I mean? I don't really like I don't like, you know, like preaching recovery on people that don't want it or need it, you know what I mean?
But doing it through music where like maybe some people are listening, they don't even know like what you're really giving out, dude. That's sick, man.
If people relate, then like if somebody hears that and they're like, damn, like this dude's talking to me, like that's all I care about at the end of the day. Because like I've had shows where we've played, you know, sometimes we're playing for 200 people, sometimes we're playing for 5 people, you know what I mean? And like at the end of the night, if I have like one person come up and they're just like, yeah, you know what, like what happens is a lot of people will stay after shows and they'll be like, yeah, well, my brother or my sister or like, you know, my daughter, you know what I mean? Like she's dealing with this right now or she's dealing with that. Like, and it's just like, what, you know, people ask me what I can do to help. And it's just, you know, I just direct them to a meeting and like, you know, if you need anything, like here's my phone number, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a cool, like, way to network like in recovery too.
Dude, it's rad. Not many people have what you have that you're able to do that. You know, I do my deal in a different way, but you to do something you love, that's huge, man. I think that is the biggest thing in recovery is to like give back, help others, because you're helping others, it's helping you. It's just, and it's so gratifying, dude, knowing like you're in a spot where you're touching people, dude. You're helping people, man. It's a really cool thing, dude. It's very commendable, man. You got a bunch of shows coming up. We'll put that all in the article. But so wait, before we go into like what I'm gonna tell you, I wanna watch you play, man. I see the guitar. I want to hear something, dude. But what do you got coming up next? Like, what's the 5-year goal, 10-year goal? What's the big plan, dude? You got anything like coming up? I mean,
for a day at a time.
One. That's a big one,
for a day at a time, too. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing the rest of the day, but just doing your thing, man.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I guess it just comes down to, you know, number one is stay clean. You know what I mean? Through all this stuff, like I've been able to, you know, be in the music scene a lot lately. You know what I mean? And especially being like, I'm 25. You know what I mean? Like I got clean when I was 20.
Yeah, young.
And I mean, it's always been like a thing where like I don't feel separated, but like it's always been like dude, like you're 20. Like I remember when I had my 21st birthday, like clean and sober. Like
I didn't even realize you were that young.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's like, dude, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. Like, you know, my head tells me some pretty crazy shit.
I bet it's got to be hard in the music world. I know, like, dude, it's.
You know what? I've been able to like meet like a lot of people like that I've been listening to since I was like a little kid, like over the past like 2 months, and like the first thing they want to do is like pass me a J or like make me a drink, and it's just like I just got, you know, regardless of how it looks to them, I'm just like, dude, I'm cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm allergic. You know, like
what do you tell somebody straight up? Like, dude, I have nothing in my name. I'm addicted. I don't know what to do. What do you tell somebody in your words how to get them to change your life around? Somebody out there may be watching this right now, like, what advice do you give them? It's kind of a big one, you know, and I don't think nobody really has a exact answer. I think it's different for everybody, but
you got to want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to want it, and you got to be willing to put away, you know, your bullshit, your old ways of thinking, like not in a offending way, but like, you know, there's a lot of like fucked off ideas that I came into recovery with that like I thought were like normal ways of life that like I had to reverse, you know what I mean? I had to be willing to drop and let go of, and that was mainly just like a lot of the, you know, don't you know who I am, like, you know what I mean, like save your life, man. Like fuck what it looks like to other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck what other people think? Like if you're gonna try to get clean and your boys are all gonna be like, oh, like why aren't you fucking coming out with us? Why aren't you doing this with us? Like those aren't your boys.
Those aren't your boys.
If anybody really cares about your fucking well-being and like knows like that you have a problem and like sees that you have a problem and wants what's best for you, like they're gonna probably take you to a meeting, man, and you know, that's just the number one thing is like desperation. Like I'll just say what I did and what worked for me, because I don't like telling, you know, other people. But what I had to do was like I had to be willing, I had to be desperate, and I had to forget like everything I knew about like my previous life. You know what I mean? It was just like learning. I had to be willing to listen and learn from people that have been doing the deal for a minute and staying clean. And whether I thought they were lame, whether they didn't look like me or dress like me or talk like me or sound like me, like I had to drop all that shit, you know. And I ended up like becoming fucking brothers with people that I never thought I would associate with.
Very well said, dude. Very true. You brought the guitar.
Are we doing this?
We're going to do this.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. I think the people want to hear it. We're going to try and do this without editing.
Yeah. All right.
So if the people know it goes black and it's a new scene, you messed up, man.
Don't mess up, man. All right.
I get a little show right now.
All right. So this is a little jam I wrote called Dope Fiend here. I'm a dope fiend, yeah, it's how it is. I never seen no type of life for this kid. Never opened up my eyes enough with my head down by my knees until I needed another hit. Said I'll wake up another day. I'm sick and stoned, hate to feel this way. It just don't feel as good as it used to. I said I'm doing what I gotta just to feel okay. Do it all again, I guess I'm insane to feel that empty feeling now that I'm used to. Cause I'm a dope fiend, yeah, it's how it is. I never seen no type of life for this kid. Never opened up my eyes enough with my head down by my knees until I needed another hit. Give me one more hit, I need one more taste. Wanna get high and leave this place. I got my girl in my ear, but I got no job. To feed my family, I gotta steal and rob. But I hate it, yet I love it too. All the stupid ass shit that it makes you do. Wake up in the morning and pour me a drink. Hungover as hell, I'm throwing up in the sink. I love my life, but it ain't my sins. My family don't like me and I got no friends. All my time and my money right down the drain. They call me dope fiend, they don't know my name, cause he's a dope fiend, yeah, it's how it is. I never seen no type of life for this kid. Never opened up my eyes enough with my head down by my knees until I needed another hit. Said my eyes are barely open. That's the feeling that I love. There ain't no controlling. I can never get enough. Heard him banging on the door now, saying we just wanna talk. Said, oh please, just one more time. I swear to God I'll stop. Yeah, that's what they always say when you catch 'em up, knowing they don't really give a fuck. Trusting won't go ahead and press your luck. I might be singing like it's funny, but I'm a dope fiend, yeah, it's how it is. I never seen no type of life for this kid. Never opened up my eyes enough with my head down by my knees until I needed another hit. Say, that's the way it is, yeah. That's the way it is, yeah. That's the way it is, yeah, 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 yeah. Cause I'm a dope fiend.
Dude, that was sick, man. I got goosebumps, dude. That was rad, man. I'm sure a lot of people are. That was really cool. Where can people hear that?
Everywhere, iTunes, Spotify.
iTunes, everywhere.
Pandora now, as of like a month ago, we got the Pandora.
Wow.
I think we're on the verge of getting our own Pandora station, and pretty much everywhere. Google Play, like.
I'm really
Apple
blown
Music.
away. I always watch your Instagram videos. Seeing that live was sick, dude.
Nice, cool, man.
Dude, I'm
Thank you.
so proud of you, man. Like on
Thank
everything, what you got. I think you have a very bright future, man. I think you're helping a lot of people. Your story, to see that one day back in the day you were fighting homeless dudes, battling for street corners. You're here doing this, helping lives, dude. You're a rad human. There needs to be more people like you, and dude, much respect. Thank you for doing this, man. And you guys heard it. There was no edits. That was one shot, man. Anyways, Kyle Smith, check it. We're out, and thank you guys.